we're doing this. I'm doing this video on UFC 147, but in this very beginning, I'm going just to do the main event for the FX event that's going to happen with Guida Maynard versus Clay Guida. So let's just first start off with there and let you guys know what I think about that match. Well, you know, both of these guys are really going at it. Both of these guys are coming off of a loss. You know, Guida Maynard just lost against, he just lost that championship bout against Frankie Edgar for the second time. Well, you know, he didn't lose it the second time. That was his first time losing because the other one was a draw. But, you know, in a fighter's mind, a draw is a loss and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, both of these guys are coming off of a loss. So this, for me, is going to be an interesting fight to watch for the simple fact that both of these guys are exciting fighters. Clay Guida is a little bit more exciting, per se, than Guida Maynard is. But Gray is more of a, if you're really into wrestling technique and whatnot, then he's your guy to look at. Both of these guys, as far as reach, Clay Guida has a bigger reach. I still believe Guida Maynard has more power. I don't think Clay Guida will be able to withstand the power of Guida Maynard as Frankie Edgar did in both of their previous fights. I don't think he has a chin like that. But I do think that the difference, you will get that same cardio, that same cardio and energy, if not more, from Clay Guida. Both of these guys tend to think that they have the best wrestling, but I think Guida Maynard has a better wrestling in this situation when it comes to both of these fighters. So how do I see this fight going? Well, I know Clay Guida is going to try to keep it on the outside and try to use his reach and try to pick his punches and do what he has to do and try to use wrestling defense to stop the takedown. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Guida Maynard is going to use punching power and, you know, big overhand rights and things like that just to get inside, to get the double leg, to grind him out on the ground. And then from there, it will be just a wrestling clinic. And that's what I believe will happen. So I have Guida Maynard winning this fight by decision. It's going to go all the way. I don't think anybody's going to knock anybody out in this one. So that's how I feel on that one. So let's go to UFC 147, guys, and let's see here. Based on this fight, it's Silva versus Rich Franklin in this one. Well, as you know, Rich Franklin wasn't actually supposed to be in this one. It was actually supposed to be, I'm sorry, I'm losing my, Vitor Belfort was actually supposed to be in there, but he got injured while, I think he was training or something like that. And guys, aren't we getting a lot of injuries? I mean, it's just, this summer for UFC has just been plagued with injuries. I was looking forward to the Lombard versus Brian Stan fight, and then that guy, that's injuries there. It's just, man, it's just on and on and on with all these injuries. But back to the card here. So let's start off at the bottom here, and we're gonna start with Yuri Alcantara versus Hakrang Das. Now, guys, these names, these Brazilian names, I'm going to probably chop them all up, so you just have to forgive me. Most of these guys, I'll try to call them by their first name. But anyway, we have both of these guys, and, you know, I would say when it comes to Yuri, he's more of a, I don't know, he's on a 13-fight winning streak. 9 times out of the 13 he's finished. I think, and I think two of his wins have been in the UFC. but both of these guys are finishers. You know, I think from me doing the research on both of these guys, I think they earned a knockout or submission in 23 of their 27 victories. Now, what does that say? What that says is that it's going to end somewhere in this fight. Both of these guys are finishers. Both of these guys are going to bring it. Yuri, a Brazilian black belt, really, really good fighter. But you know the thing, and then you have Diaz, and he's also a great fighter. He also finishes things too. But you know, when you have guys that are really good and they're really good, they butt heads a lot, and it's not necessarily. It's a psychological thing where both of these guys don't go in there to finish. They both go in there to survive. And I think that's what's going to happen with these guys. I think that a lot of stuff is going to cancel out because of how good each of them are. So I believe that this is going to be I think Yuri is going to win by a unanimous decision based on a lot of things canceling out, and him just pointing out Das. So that's just my opinion on that one. You know, it's just not really much to say. I mean, both of these guys, I mean, a lot of these guys are fairly new to the UFC, so it's not much to grade them on other than what happened, you know, before they joined the UFC. But with the information that I do have with them joining the UFC and you know, and handling top competition, I would definitely say that I believe Yuri is going to win this one by unanimous decision. Then we have Mike Russo versus you know, Verdum. You know, Verdum is coming off of his win over Roy Nelson, which was an excellent fight, which I really didn't pick Verdum to win that fight. I figured he was going to get pretty much manhandled in that one, but he really did his thing on that one. And then you have Mike Russo. You know, he went in there and did his thing against Al Nemo or whatever his name is. He pretty much defeated him with a submission. You know, it's just. And not on top of that, but he also won that fight, his famous come from behind when he knocked out Todd Duffy. But as we all know, he's a big guy, kind of out of shape, wrestler who has extremely heavy hands. He does know his submission game, but he's going against someone who's a veteran of the game, and not only that, but is extremely good at submission and ground fighting. Also, too, his stand-up has definitely improved. We saw that against Roy Nelson. So, in this fight, I don't see Russo pretty much hanging on this one. I see him just trying to survive in this fight, and I think he's going to get submitted in the third round. Third round, I think he's going to get, rear naked choke to arm barred or something like that, just from getting beat up on. And I think his cardio is going to come into play, and Verdum is just going to break him down and do what he does best, and that's go for that submission finish at the very end. So I have Verdum winning this one by submission, third round. So what's the next fight after that? Then we have Goffredo versus Bizarra. Once again, guys, these guys' names, I tell you. Goffredo, it's one of those fights that's, once again, it's going to be very explosive. These guys will just come out there and just throw it all on the line for this one. both of these, I think, both of these guys, I just feel like they have killer instinct, especially when it comes to Pepe, which is Galfredo. I just think that he's a tough guy. His jiu-jitsu, he's just very well-rounded. Then you have Bazara, which is, he's also one of those guys who's a very fast-paced fighter, tough, just as well-rounded as Pepe is, but I just believe that he's just a little bit more dangerous. Just a little bit more dangerous than Pepe. And reason why I say he's a little bit more dangerous is his speed and his ability to ability and his experience with other high level competition. Not so much with Pepe, but Bazaria definitely has a lot of high level experience, and I think that's going to allow him to win this match by catching Pepe with a punch or a kick or something like that. That will finish his fight by the second round. Second round, he's gonna knock him out. That is my prediction. Then we have Sergio versus Cesar. It's one of those things to where same thing. So Sergio he's a grappling champion, world jiu-jitsu champion, which most of these Brazilian guys are. I mean, you have to understand, like, in the Brazilian culture, jiu-jitsu is pretty much king over in Brazil. So most of these guys are going to be excellent compared to coming over to America, where it's so sporadic. I wouldn't be, I don't know if this is true, but some in the schools of Brazil, I hear that they use Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is pretty much a curriculum within PE. You have to, learn it in school. And how great would that be in the U.S.? I would love it. But it's almost just as wrestling here was in my PE curriculum when I was growing up in school, so in high school. But not to sidetrack that's another story. But like I'm saying, Sergio basically is a world-class jiu-jitsu player. He's won plenty of championships and medals and all this other type of stuff, and he's really good about doing the heel hook. So look for that, guys. The heel hook. Heel hook is definitely his move that he goes to, and that's a scary thing. I don't know if you guys have been put in a heel hook before, but it does not feel great, and it's an instantaneous tap. The pain that vibrates all the way up to your knee is not cool at all. And especially in a competition format like the UFC, where these guys are literally putting on the heel hook and trying to rip it without even giving you a chance to tap, it is fucking brutal, Excuse the language there, but it is. It's very brutal. And then you have Cesar, who is pretty much a he's a good competitor. He's definitely earned his spot on the 147 card. But he to me personally, from looking at the tough show, the Brazil tough. I mean, to me, I just wasn't really impressed with him per se. I knew he was like Vitor's second pick or something like that, and something about him being his Vitor was his real life mentor or something like that. But me personally, I just really wasn't all that impressed with him, and I think that when he jumps into the in the cage with with Sergio, I think that it's just going to be a little bit too much. And the submission game is really what's going to tip it in favor of Sergio. And I have Sergio winning this fight by submission. Second round, he's going to put that heel hook on. And he's going to crank it all the way up to his, crank it all the way through his chest. And that will be the end of that fight. So let's move on to the main event. The main event is Wanderlei versus Rich Franklin. You know, this is their second time fighting, guys, and what I can say about this fight is that I think pretty much, well, first of all, let me say this. I was watching Rich Franklin on Inside MMA the other day, and then they had a picture of him, and I was like, man, what is up with Rich Franklin's, like, Bieber haircut? Like, I don't know if you guys saw that, but I'll put the picture up here at the top here to show you his haircut. And I'm like, man, why did he do his hair like that? I mean, he just looks like Bieber's dad or something like that. I prefer the more military haircut that he had before. It makes him look a little bit tougher. This one, I guess he was trying to not look so old. But with that being said, though, I definitely respect Rich Franklin. It's not trying to down him or anything. It's just maybe that hairstyle isn't for him. But anyway, but we got Rich Franklin versus Wanderlei, and we all know how Wanderlei's skill set and where he's been and how he got there is, you know, he's a legendary fighter, and we all know what type of fighting style he brings. His fighting style is crazy as normal. And then we have Rich Franklin, which is a more technical fighter. But I think in this aspect, Wanderlei's crazy, I'm going to get you Wolverine type of fighting is not going to give Wanderlei the win that he wants. I think he's going to get picked apart from the very beginning. He would have been better going against Vitor Belfort for the reason why, because they kind of fight the same way in a sense. Now, don't get me wrong, they're not exactly the same. They have some tweaks, but both of those guys are really ferocious as far as like trying to finish and trying to get in, and that's Wanderlei. And Rich Franklin isn't so much. He's a very big counter puncher. He will do things to get you off a step, to catch you technically with a right or a cross or whatever it may be. Wanderlei, not so much. Wanderlei is just looking to rip your head off and kill you, you know, and that makes for an exciting fight, but it's very dangerous for the fighter. And also, too, it makes it easier for him to get picked off. Guys who just come in there blatantly trying to kill you without technique, it just doesn't work out. So I have Rich Franklin winning this one, and I think it's a fairly easy pick. Technicality versus slugfest. And for me, technical fighting will definitely beat out slugfest any day of the week. You know, that doesn't say that slugging has not knocked out a slugger has never knocked out a technical fighter. Just more technical fighting wins majority of the time. So Rich Franklin wins this one by TKO third round. He's gonna finish him with some knees or something like that, but he's gonna catch him good. So anyway, as normal, guys, please rate, comment, and subscribe. I will also do a review of UFC 147 after it airs. See you guys next time. Peace.